Welcome to another episode of Zero Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I am so excited to have on a 52-year-old from Cardiff, Wales. His hockey journey has taken him to Wales, England, Germany, and he is a legend with the Belfast Giants of Northern Ireland. As a player, mucked around with the Cardiff Rage and laced up for a professional match with those Giants in 2005-06. But he is best known as the hardest working kit guy or equipment manager in the game. Had the sharpest wheels in the Super League with the Cardiff Devils and London Knights before finding a home with the Belfast Giants in 2003, where he's helped them become one of the best organizations in the EIHL. And they've ran amok over the last few years. And he even spread his wings in the Shed's honey hole, Germany, for a year. And he has also been the guy for Team GB since '99 and helped write the Disney script, winning back-to-back golds, vaulting Great Britain to the top pool of hockey. Welcome to the Shed, Jason Taff Ellery.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks.
I get into how we know each other. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I got your number from Deese. He said that I get into how we know each other. He said you're his best friend in hockey.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same way about him?
Yeah, he's a really good friend of mine.
You can be honest.
Yeah. No, he's a good friend. He's a beauty. He's done well for himself to get himself in Austria with Graz. But no, we grew up together and we had some good laughs and that when we were younger. So
I'm sure you did. Deese is a fun guy to have around.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
he's got good stories himself.
When I posted that you were coming on, another guy that wrote, Jeff Maxwell.
Oh, Maxie, yeah.
He wrote, "What a beauty. Can't wait." And then Deese wrote kind of the same thing. But then, another Shed guy that wrote to me was Mark Whitfall that wrote,
"Oh, witty.
Carlos is what I call him. Like the baby from The Hangover." He wrote that you are the best equipment manager in hockey and that you are such a beauty. And he said, make sure you tell him that when he comes to the Shed. So
yeah, Mark's a good guy.
I guess the Germans like you too.
Yeah, I wish I was still there. I really enjoyed my time in Freiburg, and things didn't work out at the end. But yeah, good bunch of guys. Especially the homegrown ones. Chris Billich, Witty.
Billy, I played with him at Hellbron.
Yeah. So
great guys.
I miss them guys. Yeah, really good guys. I miss them. So.
Wow, isn't it tough when you play a season with guys and you really become like brothers, and then you just don't get to see them again?
Yeah, well, I'm definitely going back for sure, even for a holiday, just a weekend or something to hang out with them guys. So because we were in lockdown at the time, so
okay, so you didn't get to spread your wings in Germany and do all the fun stuff.
No, we were in lockdown, but got to see the city and stuff, and we lived in a ski resort, so it was a pretty good area, so it was good.
Oh yeah. So Deese has a couple questions. Did you get injured playing broom ball?
Yeah, I did. 2002 was in a charity game.
A charity broom ball game.
Yeah, for diabetes. Couple of ex-Cardiff Devils were there. Vezio Zacatini and Steve Thornton. And yeah, we were playing this game. Just didn't have a really good feeling about the last game. We were playing against a team of bankers. And it just got a bit physical. And some guy hit me over the back of the neck with a broom ball, broke my neck in two places.
With the stick?
Yeah.
Hit you in the back of the neck and broke your neck playing in a charity game in broom ball?
Yeah. Sucked.
How long's that what's recovery like for that?
I was in a neck brace for 10 weeks. I had no mobility, but I tried my hardest to stay around the team and stuff, so but yeah.
Jeez.
It was a tough time, but
so he hit you on the back of the neck, like a two-hander, I'm guessing, right?
Twice.
What'd you do to him?
Nothing really. They just been drinking and and just being idiots because I was working for the London Knights at the time, and we had jerseys on. And say, "Oh, you think you're tough for your London Jersey Knights?
Yeah.
London Knights jersey." And I'm like, to be honest, they're all office workers. I'm only here just to make up the numbers, and just got a bit physical.
Psycho.
And it took it out on me. So
that's
yeah,
crazy,
it was,
man.
Time for 2 to 3 months. So
that's wow, that's a wild game of broom ball, and that guy's got some issues. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Like realistically, that's when stuff like that happens. That's when people should get charged, But what do I know?
He did.
Oh, okay.
He got one less in attempted murder. So
holy moly.
Yeah,
okay.
So
thanks for the question, Deese. That's quite the story, though.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into the positive stuff soon here, folks, right? One more negative one, though. This is another Deese question. You ever get hit in the head with a puck in the Champions League?
Wasn't Champions League. It was at the Olympic qualifiers in Nottingham, and we're playing against Romania live on TV, of course. Dallas Earhart, left-handed shot, defenseman comes down the right wing, and I can just see he uses one of them silly P28 curves.
Which one? I don't even know which one that is. Is that got the loft on it?
The Ovechkin curve. D-man using a silly curve. And he just shot the puck left-handed, come right wing, and I seen it coming. I thought, I'm ducking out of the way. So literally I ducked, missed me, hit the glass behind, smashed me right in the face.
So you duck like towards the boards, and then it hits the glass, and that doesn't lose much momentum and hits you right in the face.
No. So
D said he thought you were dead that time too.
He was probably looking for my job after that as well.
Wow, that's wild stuff. Okay, well, I'm glad you're in the shed today, and I'm getting to meet you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so whoa. Other ways that I know you then is let's see here. That year in Freiburg, you had Carlos. You also had Evan Mosey on your team.
Yeah, Evan. Yeah, doesn't shut up. He can.
That's why it's a great shed guest too.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a good guy, but he can talk. But we put him on the other side of the locker room because we were in COVID, so we had gaps in between, and we had a guy in the team, Chad Basson, and he drove him absolutely nuts. He said, "That guy just not shut up," you know what I mean? And we could be in the coach's office, and you can just hear him talking. So, but great guy, good team guy, and I love Mose.
Up and down the lineup, does whatever for the team. The other guy playing in Sheffield now, I also saw when the research team got hot, was Scott Allen was also on that team.
Yeah, Scotty. Yeah, Scotty's a great team guy. I'm looking forward to playing against Sheffield so I can meet up with him again and have a chat, so
it is fun being in the equipment world, right? Because like us hockey guys, that when we're done and it's just done, you don't get to see any of your friends anymore unless you start a shed. The equipment guys, you guys get to stay in the game even if you get like fat and old like Deese, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Look at the size of him. Jesus,
right.
He needs to work out. Yeah.
There's no fat test for equipment managers, right?
Hey, I've been working out for the last 3 months. I've lost 17 pounds. So
you're skinny. I'm talking about Deese.
But 2 or 3 years to get rid of that barrel. But no, you meet a lot. Like I've been doing this now 32 years, and the amount of people I've met and bumped into and stories and stuff, it's out of this world.
Wow, how many people you would know around the world? And you wouldn't need to find many hotels if you want to go for vacations, I don't think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So other way we know each other is you've been part of Team GB since 99, the research team saw, and 96. Research team didn't have those, but that's very impressive. I just had on, I called it Team GB royalty, but I had on Richie, Bouncy, Jono, Richie, I got Richie written down twice. Holy moly, scrambling. Davy Phillips, right? And Mizey, that's who I didn't write down. But is it not a Disney movie what they've done and what you've done?
Unbelievable. When I first started, it was all Canadians doing nationals and a handful of Brits. And then leading up to Belfast, never won the gold medal with a team of full Brits, and then
full of
12
Brits.
minutes later,
Yeah.
Full of Brits. And then 12 minutes later, we win another one in Hungary. And and it was funny because I was thinking about it today, going into that, like halfway through the tournament, anybody could still be relegated. Anybody could still go up. It was just a wild thing, It was just so surreal to be there and to see what happened. It was just, I've never seen anything like it,
And the big goals that'll go down in history, right? Like that have written a history of ice hockey in Britain, like Ben Davies' goal, Farmer's goal,
Yeah. So Farmer scored the winning goal in Hungary.
Yeah.
Farmer scored the tying goal in Kazic.
Kazic, what's that? Slovakia?
That's Slovakia. That was the relegation game against France. And when Ben Davies scored that goal, what you got to realize is you had Ben Bounds in goal, you had Mark Richardson, Ben Davis, and Jonathan Phillips, all Cardiff related.
All Cardiff and all Shed guys. Ben Davies hasn't been on yet, but he will be. He's already confirmed.
Cheddar Benny. Just call him Cheddar Benny.
But yeah, I saw him when I went over for Matthew's testimonial, and lives right around the corner from him. And there's quite a hub of hockey guys there from Cardiff.
Oh yeah, it is. It's even when I was there growing up and seeing these guys coming through, and like Jonathan Phillips for sure. When I can remember his first goal in Cardiff against the Scottish Eagles, and how he's progressed to be where he is now in Sheffield and captain of Sheffield and the Great Britain team, and you could I still think he could play another couple of years,
Oh, so, yeah, like he's the identity of both teams, really.
Yeah, for sure. He's a passionate guy, and wears his heart on his sleeve. So yeah, I like John. John has been a good friend over the years, and especially
what I love about these big goals that have been scored, though, that these guys' names will go down in history and people talk like. British hockey will keep growing. They're going to keep getting better. And like right around the corner from here is Lucknow, Ontario, which is where Paul Henderson's from, who scored the big goal for Canada against the Russians. And like, there's big goals in history that go down forever. And like some of those goals are going to, like those were massive, massive goals. For young kids to see that you guys in the top tier of hockey the last couple of years, that's got to inspire some kids to start playing hockey.
Oh, for sure. But you know what? Like it's the only problem here is the development. I think these teams now need to start bringing youngsters into the elite league team. Like you go to Germany, I think you got to have 2 under-19s in the DL2. Every team should have 2 under-19s. We're lucky enough to have 2 under-19s right now, but
just for them to get acclimatized, right? And like be around the people you practice with, the people you're around make you better, right? Like you see Josh Batch was like getting cut from junior B in the US, and then he comes back to the EIHL and look at where he is nowadays, right?
Yeah, I know. And we got 2 young kids coming through in Max Stewart and Cal Beatty. Last year they were pivotal to our team. We had injuries, and they're young kids and they did really well, and they're still on 2-way contracts with us right now, and but that's only 2. You need another 20, 30 kids to progress and come through the system.
It's interesting, right, for everybody, because the Brits are going to want more Brits, and then us imports are going to want more imports, because then there's more jobs for us. Right.
But, for sure.
So you gotta, I think I agree though. Like you gotta have Brits getting ice time and playing, and it seems like there's too big of a drop off to that next league, right?
Yeah, for sure. And you just look at the national team now. Like you probably got 4 or 5 guys coming through, and you're probably going to lose 6 or 7 the next couple of years through retirement. And where you're going to go from there?
Like my royalty group there, right? Like that is the core of the team. I think not. Whether I know what I'm talking about or not, but those were the guys I hand selected for that episode. And those guys ain't spring chickens.
No, they're not. They don't get, this year will be another year older, and, we've got a chance to progress back up into the top nation.
Yeah.
Top pool, So
I guess you
I'm
got
moving
Liam
to
Kirk though, right? And a couple other fellas, but
Liam Kirk. We have no Kirk.
you got Nielsen too. He's a player.
Yeah, but you know what? Like it was a shame. It was a shame last year. We had so many guys out with injury as well. You know, we were
Right.
missing, I think, probably 6 or 7 guys that regularly play in national team through injury.
And the
So
reigning leading goal scorer of the tournament, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No, but what you've got to be around is a kit guy, as they'd call it in the UK, or an equipment guy. Like you've been around some
yeah.
pretty incredible hockey games in your career, eh?
Oh yeah. I've been, pool A, pool B, and pushed up. Challenge Cup against Cardiff last year. There's so many games that I can, talk about. So yeah, but the big ones for me were the GB ones.
Okay. Well, then let's get into your poster picks. Okay.
Yeah.
I find it interesting, and I can sometimes tell about people from their poster picks, but there are people that love their teammates, love coaches, people that they work for. You put up a picture of Keefer. You put a picture of Keefer on your poster.
Yeah. No, he's
doing okay.
He's doing all right. Since he came here as a player, I respected him for what he did.
Yeah.
On and off the ice, he's been, pivotal to this organization. And when he was made head coach, it's funny because I was asked by Todd to go to Cardiff, and
before or after D's?
During. So he asked me to Cardiff, and I said, "Look, I'll think about it." And he said, "Look, I'll make you an offer." I was in Cardiff. He walked in. It was in the blue tent, and he said, "Your locker room looks better than our home room." He said, "The way you set it all out and stuff." And because I worked with Todd in Belfast, and he said, "Next time you're in, I'll have a contract on the table for you." So I said, "Yeah, no problem." So the Friday before we come in, he goes, "Taff, I'm just going to pull the contract off the table." I'm like, "Yeah, no problem, that's fine." It is what it is. I'd been looking for houses. My mum was sick at the time, and I would like to have gone home, and then they made Keefer coach, and then so that year, then the following year, then they made Keefer coach, and I got a call off my buddy saying, "Home's home, eh?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, I think they're not having D's back next year, and if you want to come back, you can always come back." And I went, "You know what? If you called me probably 2 months ago, maybe." Yeah. I said, "Now Keefer's head coach." I said, "I'm not going to let that guy down because he was there for me."
Yeah.
And what he's done over the 5 or 6 years where I've been coach, 5 years coaching, been phenomenal.
You could call guy. It running a muck. That's what I call it.
Yeah. And yeah, I couldn't let him down.
I could see what he would be like as a coach, though, because I played against him. I thought he was probably the hardest competitor I ever played against. He was an animal out there. I remember one time I tried to reverse hit him because I used to have success at that. And when I tried it to him, it hurt so much. And he went right through me, and my shoulders almost went, like my wind was gone. And I'm like, well, I know now I'm getting out of the way now, and I'm moving the puck faster.
Yeah.
Because he's coming.
You know what? His attention to but his attention to detail, scheduling and stuff like that is out of this world. Like, it's.
Well, did you know that I asked Deese about you, like anything to ask about, and he said all he is a guy that shows up, he works harder than anybody, gets his shit done, and is just you're just top end is what he said. So for me, I've talked around quite a bit in my shed. I think for teams to win championships, it takes everybody. I've been lucky enough to win a few things, and not having a good equipment guy, having the best equipment guy that I keep hearing you are, helps teams win championships. It's not just the head coach. Guys not complaining about their skates, about their sticks, about this or about that. Lets them focus on hockey. They're in a better mood. They're not bitching,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a lot harder here because of the travel and stuff. But yeah, the guys respect me for what I do here and the national team. I go that extra mile for them, and yeah, it's.
When people appreciate going the extra mile, you're willing to do it the next time too, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. At Christmas and end of year, when they tip you, you appreciate it and stuff. So
yeah. So I guess, well, that kind of segues into this. I do have written down flying, and so your job with Belfast is going to be different than the ones on the mainland. Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they are busing most places, right? For the most part.
Yeah.
You guys are basically flying every time.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Unless we're in Scotland, we'll ferry across. Sometimes
So what's the ferry like? You take the bus on the ferry?
Take the bus on the ferry. Yeah. Yeah. So it's 2.5 hours across, and then Glasgow's 2 hours, Fife's 3, and then Dundee's 3.5. So it's not so bad.
Definitely different for the logistics of it, though, right? Like as the equipment guy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like if you're going on the bus, you can take everything. You take your road trunk, your glove dryers, water, everything. You can take. When you're flying, you're restricted to what you can take. Like you can't take a sharpener, you can't take glove dryers, because we have the Blade Master one. So you've got to make a temporary one with hair dryers and stuff like that. So.
Oh yeah.
But you have to pack certain things in other bags, like goalies, for instance, like two sets of gloves.
I got a question for you, because I know you equipment managers are nuts. What's the longest you've gone without sleeping?
Longest I've gone without sleeping?
To do your job.
That was probably recently in the CHL and playing here, probably 23, 24 hours easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
And that's straight, folks. There's no unions for these fellas. Right?
Yeah.
In the real world, they tell you how long you can work in a row, right? And you got to take breaks. And equipment guys, there ain't no rules for that. You got to get shit done.
No, yeah. The CHL this year was crazy with us, like the scheduling and.
Who'd you play?
We play Skellefteå from Sweden, best team in Sweden right now. We played Davos, and we played Trinich in Czech.
Would you know if Joachim Lidstrom was on Skellefteå or whatever you call it?
Yeah, I think he was, yeah.
Played with him in Syracuse. He was a clever fellow with a puck.
Yeah. God, they're all clever.
Oh, yeah.
Clever. We played against him in that last game. They had an 18-year-old kid in goal. They had this defenseman had been drafted by Winnipeg, and this other kid was only 17, hadn't been drafted yet. It was unbelievable. You're like, geez.
Well, and you see those kids, right? I remember going to Lugano and playing an exhibition game, and they're playing their normal lines, rolling out the former NHLers, and then they got up a few goals, and then they brought out a line of kids with all cages on. And they were putting it between their legs. They were doing whatever the hell they wanted with us. And I'm like, this is the fourth line. This is the 17-year-olds. Holy moly. The second league in German's way easier.
Yeah. Honestly, like we played them at home, and they turned up with 19 players. I thought, we got a chance here. The number one goalie got injured the night before. Next day, or game day, I think it was game day. They came Sunday, game day. They flew in 5 kids. Just fly in.
Yeah, come on in.
Just come on in. Yeah.
The Champions League, I never got to play in it. That was just gonna get started there when I was done. But great experience for everybody, right?
Oh, for everyone, yeah. For everyone. To play in them rinks. Like Skellefteå came to us and thought our ice was shite, and then go to.
How do you say it? I always called it Skellefteå.
Skellefteå.
Okay.
It might be different to that. So, but then our guys skated on their ice, and they said, "Now I know why they complain about the ice. This is unbelievable."
Wow.
So
there is good ice and bad ice out there, isn't there?
So, yeah, for sure. Especially if you go to Manchester.
You bad talking the Storm? They're Shed favorites. The Giants hardly ever come to the Shed.
I don't know. should ask him on.
No, I know. I probably should. I actually asked Keefer way back early on when I started it, and he was like, I don't know. I wonder if I circled back around now, if he'd be into it now.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. Sure he will, yeah.
I don't know if he knew which way I was going to be going with the shed, but I think it just helps promote everybody and gets fans more engaged and gets them to know people, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I get to have fun. So
yeah,
everybody wins, folks. Shout out to Cross Check Clothing. I got a parcel in the mail here, a box full of goodies. So welcome to the Shed family. The clothes look fantastic. In the real world, dads don't really have any money to spend on fashion, and I never really did anyways. And now I have new clothes for the first time since, I guess, 2015-16 when the Devils gave me clothes. So thank you, Cross Check Clothing. It's great to have new clothes for once, and they look great.
Good.
Okay. So anyways, better move on. So the Belfast Arena, that's a big one.
Yeah. It's 6,000 seater when it's fully.
And you guys have cool concerts and stuff, because what I remember of going to Belfast is obviously you got the Titanic thing beside it. So I'm talking like first time, never been to Belfast. I show up, you got the Titanic thing beside the arena. I'm like, well, that's really cool. And then you walk in that back door to get to the locker rooms, and you see all the posters of all the cool shit that happens in that arena.
Yeah, for sure. And I've met a couple of the stars. I met Bruce Springsteen, Take That. I met Ed Sheeran. So you get to meet some of them sometimes, in and out of the locker room, So
no, that's cool though. That arena is nice. It's just the ice surface is so big,
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. And that's the thing. Like you go to the DEL now, they move in. They're making their rink smaller. I think they're going to NHL sizes.
And you should.
Yeah, for sure. It quickens the game up and
more hitting, more bumping and grinding.
Yeah, for sure.
Think about Adam Keefe playing his career on a smaller ice surface, man. He would have ran through even more guys. Playing him in the big blue tent, literally my line and his line would always be matched up against each other, the third lines, right? And I don't think Lorna wanted to play against him that much, so I got to. Right? Every shift I hated it. I hated every shift against him because I had to know where he was at all times. And then I was like, oh, is that Lloyd guy out here? Is he going to slew foot me? And I'm like, what a mess.
Yeah, them two on the ice. Mark outside center. He'd win the face-off, chip it in the corner, and it was just like two bloodthirsty dogs just going into the corner. You're like, oh, here we go.
I'll say this in my shed because I could say whatever I want. I respected Adam Keefe as a player more than basically anybody. But that Lloyd, for some reason, his foot would always be behind the other guy's heels,
Yeah.
Don't need that shit.
No. But he got away with it for a long time.
Yeah.
The league tried to clamp down on it, but they never really caught him, really. So.
Well, I saw what was going on. I didn't like it.
but then you got Keefer to back him up.
I know. That sucks.
Yeah. I'm going to say it on your shed as well. I remember when what's the guy off Spitting Chicklets? What's his name?
Biz?
Yeah, Biz. I remember when Darryl Lloyd blindsided him in Cardiff in the blue tent, and he went to go after Lloyder, and Keefer just stepped in. But Biz never says anything about that on Spitting Chicklets, so you can say it in your shed. He got smoked by Darryl Lloyd.
Clean hit or no?
Oh, it was a clean hit. Yeah. He got him clean. Yeah, but he he thought he was a Wayne Gretzky in the league. Listen to him on Spitting Chicklets. He was Wayne.
No, I've heard him on there talk about it back before I was too busy to listen. I haven't caught Betty lately. But maybe I should have him on someday. I played against him in the coast. We both played in Cardiff, but some people can, they get pretty big that who knows if they'd come to the shed. Right. But so speaking of your crazy hours, when I first reached out, you said you had 6 games in 12 days.
Yeah.
That's busy, for an equipment guy. That's a lot of laundry. That's a lot of setting up rooms.
lot of traveling, just like it's just wild, mate. Like, and our guys don't pack and unpack the bags, so I do all that for them here. You
What?
know, yeah.
Every game?
So like, if we're flying, so there you go. So if we're on a ferry, we've got to be at the bus for 6:30 in the morning. So we play Saturday night at home. So I probably get home about 12 o'clock, and then 12:30. Go midnight, sleep for about 4 hours, back in for 4:30, pack the bags, load the bus, just to give them guys that extra hour in bed. So just
You're saying if they play on a Friday night at home, they don't pack their bags that night, they air it out. They go home and go to sleep and then just show up for bus time. They don't even pack their bag when they get there.
No. And when we get back from a road trip, if you're on a plane, you're
This sounds like some University of Michigan bullshit. At Western Michigan University, we unpack our own bags and we carry our own bags. Those punk Wolverines would have people doing it for them.
Ask Todd Kelman. He used to pack and unpack his bag for him, so he knows.
Well, that's that's nice of you.
Yeah. And like where are we next week? We're playing Manchester. Not next week. Week after, we're in Manchester. So I'll drive over, go on Friday night, set up on Saturday in Manchester, drive to Nottingham after the game, unpack all the gear, get it all washed and dried, and then play the game, and then drive back to Belfast.
How often do you take droolers in locker rooms? A drooler is when you fall asleep just to the point of starting to drool, and then you snap out of it.
Oh, you just get that extra bit of wind, and you just like, boom, you're back at it.
I do it all the time. I need just droolers. I don't need full-time naps. I used to be like a 3-hour nap or 2-hour napper when I was a hockey player, right? Now I literally, if I have 6 minutes, I will set my alarm for 6 minutes from now and I'm out.
Yeah. Best 6 minutes ever.
It really is. So, well, yeah. There's other good six. So yeah. But you're right. Yeah. Sleeping is fun. When you get time, folks, but the shed's more fun, right? So how'd the Champions League go? I didn't ask. I didn't look.
We did pretty well. We played in Greenwich.
Do you have 3 more games then against the same teams, or no? Is it over?
Yeah, 3 home, 3 away.
Okay.
So we Greenwich, we lost 4-0. It was never a 4-0 game. It was probably a 2-1 game. And referees all over the world suck.
Oh, do they ever? The international ones?
Yeah,
brutal.
Yeah. Then we go to Davos. If we didn't have such a bad first period, we held our own second and third. Skellefteå, that was a tough place. We had a few injuries in that, and then we beat Trinidad at home, and we pushed Davos at home as well. So all the games are competitive. They're close. They're not far away.
Well, and that's I think EIHL teams are really, really good, and I mean, I think they can compete with everybody. I just saw, when you check things out, I saw a bunch of people saying how proud they were of Belfast for how they competed and everything. But I think it's great that the teams are in that league, and finally the EIHL gets to show how good it is now, right?
Yeah, but it's a shame that scheduling. We have to schedule like Challenge Cup games in, and then you do Champions League. Like we played week before, we played Dundee away on Saturday, home to Guildford Sunday, travel to Skellefteå on Monday, play Tuesday in Skellefteå, travel back Wednesday, and then you're back in it again.
And you guys are doing pretty good in the domestic league, right?
Yeah, we haven't lost a game in the Challenge Cup with top of the standings in that, and then we've lost one against Guildford, but that could have been down to fatigue, from the Skellefteå trip. But we beat Coventry are up there this year. We beat them 7-0 the other night, and then we played them Sunday 4-1 down. End of second. We scored a good goal with 11 seconds to go to make it 4-2, and then we started rolling. So, and then we went in 5-4. So,
yeah. So Keefer, what's his pregame speeches like?
he's pretty intense.
Pretty
You
vocal,
know,
pretty wound.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of resemblances or similarities to Lordo, I think, right? Just
yeah,
how they played hockey, like how competitive they were, how they just gave her tits all the time. And like Lordo was so
yeah,
attention to detail, all that good stuff, like just dialed right
yeah,
in, right?
yeah. But yeah, he's really intense with his speeches. But we could be winning games and he'll go in. He said, "You guys are shit." You know what I mean? Like, pick it up.
Yeah.
And he gets the
The
you
vibe.
know the vibe, and the guys get it as well. So
Mhm. I hear you. Okay. I better get back on track, eh? Oh, actually, no. I'm going to ask about this year's team. Any studs on the team? Because there's a whole new generation of hockey players. I don't know any of them. I looked at
yeah,
your roster. I don't know many people.
we got Scott Conway. You know, he's really good. He played AHL for a while there. Good goal scorer. And then we've got Mark Cooper. Mark Cooper, and he's like an engine. He just doesn't stop. He's one of the best players in the league. And
How
then you
long's
got
he been there?
his second year for us now. So, and then you got Ben Lake. Like Ben Lake
I saw him play for
shows,
GB. Yeah.
yeah. He shows up every practice, every game. He is just like a machine. He's
Yeah.
he never gives a night off.
And you know what you're going to get every night. That's nice to have as a coach.
So, yeah. So,
okay. Back on track now. Growing up in Cardiff, how'd you get into hockey? Because the hockey scene in Cardiff probably isn't what it is today, right?
No. So I literally worked in the original rink, the Wales National Ice Rink, and I was
right by Chippy Lane.
That's it. That's where John Lewis is right now. So
yeah.
So I would go skating on a Friday, and a couple of mates said, "Oh, we're pretty good." So we bought our own skates, and then. But
you weren't wearing the blue ones. Did you use a penguin?
No, penguin, mate, penguin, sea lion, mate. So I bought my first pair of skates, and they were shit. So I bought a better pair, and some guy said to me, "Why don't you come skating with us one night and we play hockey?" I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." Well, I turned up with these big, massive shin pads. I got these Cooperalls on, tighter and tight, big shoulder pads, white gloves, and just got into it, playing with the guys, and then got a full-time job in the rink. And then I left there, and I went to Lee Valley to watch the Cardiff Devils play. And
Lee Valley,
Brian Wilkie, yeah. It's an old place, mate. So,
I got a story before we keep going. When you're talking about the equipment and just showing up, because I'm on lunch hour from work here, is a gal at work yesterday says to me, "Brent, my son has his first hockey practice tonight at 5:30. I have nothing. I have no equipment, nothing. Do you think that's a problem?" And I was like, yeah, that's a problem. Take some time to get everything you need to be a hockey player. But you know what? Versatile Roberta, she figured it out. She got equipment from her sister or someone, and it all fit the fella, but it was girls' equipment. So he was wearing pink and purple yesterday, but had a good first practice, I hear.
Did he have the old Jack and Danny padding? So
I think he was looking for a penguin is actually what was going on. But anyways, okay, so that's how you got into hockey then, eh? Is you just showed up and played. How old are you?
Yeah, 52. So there was a kid
back then.
Yeah. Oh, I was 20.
Yeah. First time you played hockey, you were 20?
Yeah. Well, probably a couple of years younger than that. So probably 17, 18.
Okay.
So, but anyway, I was in Lee Valley, and Brian Wilkie got hit in the boards face first, broke his orbital bone, his jaw. And Owen Jenkins, who was the equipment guy at the time, said, "Can you look after the sticks and the jerseys after the game? Pack them up for me." I said, "Yeah, no problem." I said, "I'll take him to hospital." So after the game, I did it. And then John Lawless turned around and he said, "What are you doing on Tuesday and Thursday nights?" I said, "Not much." He said, "Well, come to practice." He said, "You can come and help us out." and that was it from 1990 right through till 96. It was a semi-pro, no pay, and then went professional in 96. And then
you just did it for the love, though. You're doing it because
for
you
the
love
love.
being around the guys and you be around the team,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So,
like me right now, right? I still feel like I'm semi-pro doing it for no money. Someday, it's because I'm doing it for the love. Someday, maybe I'll be a pro, right?
Yeah, for sure. And it's probably the best decision I ever made in my life.
Yeah. Well, look at all the things you've got to do, right?
I travel the world. I work for the IHF. I've worked for great teams. Met so many people. It's really good.
What it's hitting home there when you say that is like me starting this. It's like I was out of the game for like 5-6 years, and to think how involved I am with it now, and how many new people I've met, and how many great people I've met, and how many people are asking me for help with things or advice with things, and it's like, folks, I'm just a guy talking my shit. I don't even know what I'm talking about, right? But it's really fun.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's because I got to live all over the world, and it was through the great game of hockey. And what's weird to think of is I kind of hated hockey for a few years when I got home. Like, I hated it. I hated where I was at with my young kids and my career, and I had no job. And I'm like, this has happened to me because I played hockey, because I played professional hockey, and I got to that dead end that everybody gets to. But then once you get out of it and you see what everything hockey did give you,
Yeah, for sure. Like, I train people now to do my job. I work for the IHF, and I go all over the world. I've been to Korea, Japan, I've been to Abu Dhabi, Belgium.
Research team didn't find that for all the places your hockey journey has taken you. Sorry.
Yeah, it's been great. Like,
so you've been going around with the IIHF and teaching people how to do the skates and how to do the jerseys and like everything, just set it all out.
Yeah, I do it every year. I go to Finland every year. I've been doing it now 11 years.
See, I figured Finland already knew what's up, but maybe not Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi was, I had a guy from Lebanon, I had a guy from Dubai, and I had a guy from some other country, Jordan. I was teaching them.
They're playing hockey there?
Yeah. And I went to one there's another one in Korea, and there was an Indian kid, never sharpened skates before in his life, never touched skates in his life. And by the end of the week, he was probably the best skate sharpener I've ever taught. And then he emailed me about a month later, and the Indian Federation bought him a second-hand Blade Master, and people go to his dad's shed and they pay him to sharpen skates.
I didn't know there was much hockey in India.
Well, they play up in the mountains, so they play on frozen ponds in the mountains.
Well, that's cool.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
So it's.
Well, shout out to Yashis Raghu Kumar, episode 10. Seriously, we did our MBA together in Cardiff. Cardiff Met, right? Okay. So he came on. He was actually the first person I ever recorded with in the shed, and then I saved it till episode 10. But yeah, fun times. Cool. Well, that's neat. You got to do all that stuff. How does that start? How do you get that position with IIHF to do that?
I got invited to be an equipment manager on it. So there's 10 teams. So I've probably worked with kids that have been drafted and stuff like that. So it was a high performance camp with North Americans, Russians, Czech, you name it. So I got invited to this camp. I was an equipment manager, and then the next year they turned around and said, "Look, we want you to teach people because you're so good at what you do."
And that's what everybody keeps saying.
Yeah.
Why didn't it work out in Freiburg if you wanted to stay there?
Bad management.
Yeah. If the player, sorry, Freiburg, if you're listening, but when your players are saying best equipment manager they've ever had and what a beauty, that helps your team win hockey games. So wake up. Germany is a different culture when it comes to some things in hockey. And things are different in each country and each league, right? So
yeah. Germany, I thought Germany have got it right because they play games Friday, Sunday.
Yep. Oh yeah.
You know,
one home, one away.
Yeah. And there's one guy I hated in this league the last couple of years was Marco Valleran. Like, played for Sheffield. But you listen to his interview after it, he says, you know what, you're playing in Dundee on Saturday.
Yeah.
You drive all the way to Dundee, play the game. You get back at 6 a.m, and then you got to play at 4:00, and you lose at Dundee. That 2 points in November is going to affect you winning the league at the end of the season.
Yeah,
you know, you're not properly rested, and I think these owners need to realize now, playing Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday, you're going to get more injuries.
Yeah,
you're going to get more. At least you've got that time in between to rest. You know, even we played. Freiburg was right down the bottom of Germany, and Weisswasser was at the top, and it was 10-hour bus trip.
Bremerhaven or Weisswasser, beautiful whitewater.
Yeah. And you drive all the way up there, you play the game, and you drive all the way back. You get back at 8:00 in the morning.
Oh yeah.
But you've got the rest of the day to
get your shit back together before Sunday's match.
Sundays.
I loved being in Germany so much for the 6 years too, because your schedule was, you're going to have one road game that week. You're going to be home all week with your family. Like, you're going to be home and you're going to literally bus there, play the game and bus home. Don't matter how far it is.
Exactly. And then you got playoffs. Like, I've never witnessed a North American playoff before. It was,
you've never been in a playoff series?
No.
Oh my word.
Until I went to Germany.
That's hockey. That's what hockey is at its truest self, is a best of 7 series, 2 teams going against each other and seeing who's going to break.
Yeah. And we went, we beat Cockburn in 5. It was only 5 games at the time because of COVID. And then we went to the semi-final and lost in game 5. We had a chance.
But when you get in a playoff series and say you play game 1, and then you got to make the adjustments based on how it went, and then you battle again, and then you battle again. And literally by the end of it, both teams inside and out. And then it ends up, there could be teams that are better than the other, but then there's times where you feel them break and you're like, oh, we got you now. It could be game 6. It could be game 7, but you feel them. You can just see it. They don't have it no more.
It was you play in Cockburn, you come back, you play at home, and then you go to Cockburn, you come back, and you're like, Jesus, this is unbelievable. No practices. It was just wash, do your skates, pack up, and away you go. And
they play every other day in Germany, right through the playoffs.
Right? Yeah. And it was all I loved it. It was
that's hockey though. No practicing and just playoff games. That is what I would love. Just playing playoffs with no practices. If I could just do that every season, man.
It was different gravy, right? So
I what did you like German beer? The Freiburg team sponsors that Christmas beer, right?
Yeah. So that's what everybody talks about. Is you look at their jersey, they're sponsored. The logo is the biggest logo you've ever seen, and then you got the team
down there.
Logos this.
Yeah. When I was in Germany running a muck, my jersey said "Ich liebe es," which meant I'm loving it for McDonald's with a big sign. And I was.
Oh yeah. But yeah, the whole culture is different. I was lucky enough to be in a beautiful city. Got out and walk around and up the mountains when it's ski season. So yeah,
that's the difference, right? You're not traveling all over the place, and you're at home, and you get out of the rink because it's a practice day, and you get to go do stuff, right? And
yeah, for sure. So even in the bubble, we had 3 dressing rooms with 7 guys in each room, and but I still think if our goalie hadn't retired after before the first game of the playoffs, we probably would have won it.
Freiburg.
Yeah.
Really? Who's the goalie?
Yeah. Ben Meisner.
He retired after the first game or before the
first game, yeah.
To do what?
He had mental health issues, so.
Oh, so okay. So he retired before the first game.
Yeah, so we had a backup that got us all the way through to the last game of the semifinals.
That's awesome. Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
Is his name Enrico?
Enrico Saviano.
Shed follow, or maybe have to have him on and chat with him someday, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's cool. Like when I have guys on, right? And that the people that follow, I don't have a marketing team, I don't have a sales team, but when I see the people that are following the shed, they're hockey people, you know?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. There's a lot of people that follow this stuff, and spitting checklists and things like that. That it's growing and growing all the time. You'll probably get sponsored by a German beer company soon. So
who knows where it's gonna go, right? We're just gonna have fun and see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we've really just been chatting. We can obviously do that. I have not asked about the Cardiff Rage. You played 7 games. You had 25 pims, so that means you're a fighter. You had 0 points and 25 penalty minutes.
Yeah, love the old scrap.
You don't really, eh? You're a fighter?
Yeah, I used to be.
Oh dear. How'd you do?
I did all right. Did okay. Got beat up once by Andy Hanna, but But my best friend Chris Thomas, he's from Cardiff, CJ. He was forward, I was defense, and we have young kids on the team. He'd look at me, he'd go, rock paper scissors. Who's going to fight first? And here we go, rock paper scissors. Lo and behold, we beat.
And then you just whoever lost would go out and fight.
Yeah.
There's a lot more of it back in the day. I saw Jono and Franny were on that team.
Jono, Franny, who else would have been on the team? Well, James Masson's from Cardiff. There was a load. There was a load of us to come through the system, When
I saw your poster pictures, I didn't think you were going to be a fighter, but then the research team got hot. I'm like, I think this guy's a fighter. So why does the research team see 1 game played for the Belfast Giants in 2005-06? Did the team say, we need you to go out there and drop some guy?
No. So it was a year that was Theo. I think Theo was here that year. No, he wasn't. So what happened was Nathan Craze, another Cardiff guy, was a goalie.
Yeah,
was our Mike Menard was our starter. He was
from Owen Sound, Ontario. Brother Chris was a shed guy. Yeah, or is a shed guy.
And then the third goalie, the night before, must have taken a shot in practice. We scored. He high-fived someone, snapped his collarbone.
So high-fiving a guy, he broke his collarbone.
Yeah, he must have taken a shot up in practice the day before and weakened it.
Didn't realize, and maybe it was a little fracture, and then just
and then we didn't have a goalie.
So you're the backup. You sat on the bench.
Yeah.
It said 0 goals, 0 assists. It should have said save percentage.
But the best thing about it was Mike Menard was in net, and someone went over his neck with a skate and cut him open.
No way.
Yeah, cut him open, and the fans are just screaming, "Bring on Taff! Bring on Taff!" And my ass is going 10 to a dozen, thinking, "Jesus Christ, here we go. We're playing Nottingham with 4-1 up." Like that. 7
Did you go in?
No, I didn't. They put a load of Vaseline on, put a bandage around it. Todd played in the game. So, but the funniest part about it was in warm-up. I hadn't told my buddy Adam Goodrich from Nottingham, the equipment guy, that I was backing up. So I'm standing by the blue line with a mask on, and I'm shouting over to him, "Goody, goody!" He's looking around. He's like, "What the fuck is going on?" I said, "Goody, goody!" And I shout, "Goody!" Lifted mask. He said, "What the hell is going on?" I said, "Sorry, man, we have to back up tonight." So.
Oh man, it would have been awesome if you had got the game too.
Yeah. So.
Some of the fun stuff that happens in the EIHL, right? It's like the same as like the coast and everything. Like you need guys to step up and help out certain nights, right?
Yeah, but it's like Theo when Theo.
So Theo Fleury played for Belfast. Let's get into that. I know Todd once told me a story because I thought it was funny, just based on my history. He said he came over, he was fat, a little out of shape. And he said, "Who's leading the league in scoring? Because how many points do I need to do it?" And then he did that.
Yeah. So the day he arrived, I picked him up from the airport. Him and his girl at the time picked him up. put his matching golf club bags in and suitcases, put all in the back of the van. I said, I'll meet you at the rink with your gear. Yeah, no problem. So I turn up at the rink. He walks in. He's got this big belly on him. Looked like a Buddha. Goes round the room, starts shaking hands with everybody. Gets to me. I'm in goalie equipment because we haven't got a backup goalie. And he shook me by the hand. He went, "Aren't you the trainer?" I said, "Yeah, goalie's not playing today. He's sick today, so I'm just stepping in." He just looked at me and went, "Oh my God." Walked around the room. And then in the corner of the shop, we have this area in the shower. There was 75 cases of Coors Light. He turned around and he said, "Guys, you trying to kill me?" He said, I'm coming in your cold turkey and, you've got all this beer.
Yes, 75 cases of beer.
And he just looks at me, we all look at him and go, he said, "It's okay, guys." He said, "I like the hard stuff." So, but what a guy. Like, he never touched a drop of alcohol, drugs, nothing. He said the best thing he ever found in Belfast was Red Bull. He said it was like liquid cocaine.
Red Bull. Oh, man. Yeah. I remember when there was a time when everybody was drinking Red Bull. It would have been right around that time, right? And yeah. Red Bull was huge, and man, that can't be good for you.
No. So he loved it. So,
well, it definitely could get you going. Like at Western Michigan University, Red Bull Jaegers, Red Bull vodkas, right? Very popular drink. But the problem is if you drink that shit and then you should be sleeping and the night should be over, it's like 2-3 a.m. and you're just wound for sound, right?
Just buzzing.
Yeah. So, and you're awake maybe when you shouldn't be, right?
Yeah. He came in that night though, and we played Edinburgh. He got 1+4 and a fight.
And he fought in his first EIHL game.
Oh yeah, he fought Freddie Aduya. I'll never forget it.
And it's funny, right? Because some guys come over from the NHL and they were a fighter. They were an actual fighter. And they're like, "I don't want to do that anymore. Now I'm a hockey player." And you're like, "Well, actually, no, because nobody would have paid you money to play hockey because you're actually a fighter." Right. But that guy would come over and show the whole team he's in it to win it. And he gets in a fight, he gets 5 points. And then he's like, then you're like, well, he's not one of those NHL guys that came over. And I saw it, man. Guys came over and they thought they were too good for all of us. And it's like, well, you're an actual punk because you're not playing hockey the way you're getting paid to play.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It was I can't remember that guy's name. He was on Twitter the other day. He played in Nottingham. I can't remember his name, but he absolutely ripped the EI and the DEL to bits. Said it was like a beer league, and I'm like,
really? And it's funny, right? The guys that say that, they come over and they don't even do that well, right? And it's like, well,
Ian Moran, that was his name.
It's I don't know. I thought there was a lot of NHL players that came over, and it actually made me feel better about myself because I was like, well, if you're only that good, then I'm pretty good because you're not doing very well.
No.
Shoot, I better move on. You're right though. I didn't like when the NHL or former NHL players would come over, and then it's like, well, this is my career, this is my livelihood, and then some of them just didn't care enough, and it's like, I don't care that you have millions. I really don't.
No, for sure.
Okay, so you worked your way up though. So it was semi-professional in Cardiff, and then it goes to the Super League, which we talked about. No Brits playing. I looked at that roster. It was all Canadians.
Yeah, we probably had 1 or 2 Brits on the team. Jason Stone, I think, Nicky Chin.
Stoner, he was the reason why I didn't wear number 10 in Cardiff, because it was retired, right?
Yeah, that's it. So but I seen him go up through the ranks as well, so.
And he's a dandy. Saw him at the testimonial. He said he'd come on too. There's such a long lineup. It's like, I don't even know where to start.
I know. You could be doing this every day of the week.
I literally could do it Monday to Friday easily, but you'd have to make money doing stuff that, right? There's just not much time in the day. So you got to do it on lunch hour, folks.
You need to get a sponsor.
Yeah, no. Well, they'd be good. Folks, I'm right here if you want to sponsor the shed. We do have quite a few folks listening, if you're wondering. Right? Okay. So anyways, when you start in the Super League, some of the guys I got written down, actually one guy's been with you forever. Steve Thornton. Is he still with Belfast?
Yeah, he's a general manager of the
Right.
Giants.
And you've been with, so you were with
So
him
we
in
went-
96. It's 2022 now, folks.
Yeah. So in 96, he came to Cardiff. We won the inaugural Super League that year.
Did you have a parade?
Oh, yeah.
I've seen
We had a
pictures of
parade.
that parade, and I'm like, why didn't we? Like, I want a parade, right? We should have had a Challenge
mean,
Cup parade.
It was the best. It's the best parade because Wales were playing at home as well in rugby
At the same time as the parade?
at the same time. Yeah. So we had an open top bus going through town, right up St. Mary Street. Like
That's
it was
living.
the best time. You probably know Shannon Hope.
I've heard the name lots. I don't know him, but yeah.
Shannon was a big part of it. But like we went to the mayor's house after it. Shoe check the mayor.
I met the mayor in Denmark, and I was in
Yeah.
one wearing a gold helmet. So
So we started 10 a.m. in the morning, and I don't think it finished like 3 o'clock in the morning. Like we were,
and
it was
that's hockey. Folks, bring
Yeah.
parades to the UK. Whoever wins the league this year, bring a gosh
Yeah.
darn parade to town. Let's do this, right?
And the funniest thing was we went, so in the evening we went to a place called Brannigan's, and the England rugby team were in there, and Peter Waffy Smith, Paul Healy were all sitting down, a few of years, and the England rugby team come in, they're sitting there. And Peter Smith, because England beat Wales, Peter Smith went, "Oh, congratulations to Will Carling. Oh, congratulations on the win tonight." He said, "I really don't give a shit." And Peter Smith's like, "What did you just say?" So I almost started a bar brawl in the middle of Brannigan's. I'm like, "Oh my God," like all these big rugby players, hockey players, and thinking,
We're gonna get in a brawl because the guy said he didn't even care about winning the game for England.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I get the boys not. Yeah, that's a strange response.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
When you get a bunch of guys together, and it's interesting when you get teams that go out to bars together, right? Because it only takes one guy on your team or their team to be a donkey.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, I know he's a donkey, but we have to have his back because he's on our team, right?
Yeah, for sure. So
things can get carried away.
One of the guys picked up an ashtray. I'm thinking, oh my God, this is just going to escalate here. I'm like, time to go. So,
yeah. Oh yeah. You don't need that stuff, folks. That's when it's time to walk away, right? On the ice, you don't walk away. Off the ice, you do, right?
Best friends off ice.
Okay. So obviously you've been to Chippy Lane.
Oh yeah.
What would you get
Chicken
if you were
curry off
going
the
there?
floor. Chicken curry off the floor.
Really? You like it off the floor?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Have you never seen it?
I've seen chicken curry, right? It's just
so it's chicken curry off the bone.
Yeah.
But we always call it chicken curry off the floor because the guy would get the curry out of a bucket, cooked chicken out of the bucket, throw it in for the curry sauce on top of the chips, and you're like, hey, it is what it is.
Let's do it. It's that time of night.
It's Tony's. I think it's Tony's. The chip shop was called.
I totally have met you before. You know that? I just realized it right now. It just hit me. No, I'm serious. Nottingham playoff weekend, when I'm injured and I don't play hockey anymore, the Belfast Brass was out, and your player coach was the guy I played with in Syracuse, Walzer. And I met you guys at a kebab shop.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, you did. Yeah,
I have met you. Definitely have met you before in my life. Ha! There we go. So anyways, well, that's what you get. I'm not much of a curry guy, gives me bad odor, but
yeah. Oh, I love it. I'm a curry guy.
I've met equipment managers that didn't mind smelling bad.
Yeah. Oh, there's a few. This is one of them. He's
there's some swings with his body odor, right? There could be clean days, but there can be the opposite, right?
Yeah, there's bad days. Every time I phone, he was on the toilet. So it was on the toilet.
I've talked to him on toilets too. I I find it'd be interesting his body odor now that he has teeth, right? You'd almost feel like you're stuck with a higher standard of body odor now, right?
He looks like the donkey. He looks like the donkey from Shrek with them teeth. You know what I mean?
Well, I think he went to an obscure country to get them. So,
Oh yeah, went to Croatia or something like that. I think so.
okay. Anywho, so why did you leave the Devils after what was it, 4 years in the Super League or 5 years? You go to the
bad
London
management.
Knights, but there in between there's a year where you were just Team GB.
No, I left Cardiff.
Went to
99, I
London
think it was.
Knights, right?
Yeah. The reason I left was because we had an owner called Bob Phillips, and he shafted a lot of guys out of money and stuff. So I was going to quit hockey. Actually, I was going to quit, but I went to Norway with the national team. And Chris McSorley was the head coach, and he was the coach in London at the time. And he said to me, he said, "Look," he said, "the guy in London is not going back." He said, "There's a job opportunity for you there." And I went, "Okay." So I went for the interview, and I got the job. So.
And he was the coach. I've heard of him before.
He left. He left. He went to Geneva that year. So Bob Leslie came in. Bob Leslie came as head coach.
It's very strange you get talking around in your shed how small this hockey world is, and like it's always the same names that keep popping up for some reason.
Popping up, yeah.
You know? But okay. So then you go to London. You had Vesio, Sacratini, and Steve Thornton on that team too, eh?
Yeah. And Ian McIntyre.
And Jeremy Roenick's brother, Trevor.
Trevor, yeah. What a beauty.
I didn't know Jeremy Roenick had a brother until the research team got hot.
Yeah, he ended his career in London, actually. So we were in Belfast, actually. He took 2 slap shots in like within 30 seconds, and he fractured his shin bone, and he couldn't walk.
Blocking them?
Yeah. From the same guy, Rob Stewart, who's assistant coach here. And he couldn't walk. He said, "Something wrong with my leg." And I said, "Right, okay." So we took him for x-rays, couldn't find anything. Went for MRI, couldn't anything. So we had to send him to some specialist. So they got his leg and they twisted it. He had a hairline fracture of his shin bone, and it calcified because it was so long and his career. So yeah.
Gosh, that can make your knee hurt just listening to shit like that.
He was an unbelievable guy as well. So
okay, another guy, another shed guy that I haven't coursed into my shed yet. Rich Branilla. He was on the team second year.
Yeah.
I played with him in Landsuit with the Cannibals.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, he's a dandy too, though. He helped me, right, when you first get to Germany, and he's one of the older guys that's been doing it for a few years. And you need those good guys to help you out when you get over there, right?
Yeah, he was awesome. Really good guy, great defenseman.
Yeah.
Itchy Rowe.
Huh?
That's what we call Itchy Rowe.
What's that mean?
That was his nickname. Itchy Rowe is like a Chinese guy. Like,
yeah.
So
I tell you, in Munich, where he used to play, they used to like chant something at him. It's kind of strange. But yeah, he's a dandy. He's a firefighter in Toronto now.
Oh,
okay. But anyways, Super League in London. The research team got hot. You only had one Brit on your team the 1 year, David Clark, who's a legend. But you only had one Brit on the whole team.
The whole team. Crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah. And that's what that's what the league was like. Like, nobody had development, nobody, and we only had David there for a few games because he was helping out. We had so many injuries. And look where his career went, we got the chance to play the league, and then he goes to Nottingham, and he is like, so.
Oh yeah, he was a legend. I remember meeting him. So then they go tits up then, probably, right? Flying that many guys over, paying that many guys, paying for the visas, paying for everything. So then it goes tits up, eh?
No, it didn't go tits up. The owner of the team was Philip Anschutz. So he owns the LA Kings.
Oh.
At the time, Geneva, Servette, Sparta Prague, Hammarby.
What? This guy owns all that shit?
He used to own Icebound Berlin,
Why
Frankfurt.
don't you tell him to sponsor the shed, for cripe's sake?
So he owned all these teams. So he owns all these teams, and he had whispers that the NHL was going to expand to Europe. So he bought all these teams and didn't. And then he wanted to make a new arena in London, but couldn't get planning permission and car parking and stuff. So I think he bought the arena for 10 million, probably made 40 million on top of that, selling it.
Jeepers.
Yeah. So
what's that guy into? How did he get so rich?
Real estate, all that. Yeah. So like there's a piece of land just outside LA somewhere that nobody could get. So Bush was the going for president, and he said, well, if you sponsor me to be the president, he said, you'll get that land. Lo and behold, he got the land. So but Philip Anschutz was the loveliest guy, really nice guy. So
that's awesome.
It's funny you say that we make the small world hockey world is. So the equipment guy for Skellefteå was in London in 2000 with Hammarby, and he said,
Hammarby, what's that?
Yeah, that's a Swedish team. He started his career in Hammarby, now he's with Skellefteå, and he said, I was there at the same time as you then. So
yeah, I remember you. Yeah, it is, man. It's such a small world. Like it's bizarre when you. Yeah. Okay, better keep going here. Stuff to do. Okay, second year in London though. You have Rich Brunella, but you also have Gerard Adams, who is also like a Devils legend. It's weird. All these guys, they're all over the place when the research teams get hot. But then, so after that year, you go to Belfast. How does that happen?
Well, so originally, because the Anschutz group were closing the team down, I didn't have a job to go to.
So they just he decides it's not viable in London. The EIHL is not big enough. Moving out?
Yeah, he said, we're just shutting it down. I thought, okay, no problem. So I spoke to AEG Europe, Anschutz Europe, and I said, is there any jobs within the company, the umbrella of Anschutz? And he goes, yeah, there's a job. He says, do you want to go to Reading Royals in the East Coast? Because they own them as well. They own the Manchester team. And I said, right, okay. He said, yeah, no problem. He said, if you want that job, we can get you there. So the guy at the time, the coach was called Mike Lowry. He called me, he said, look, we'd like to take you on and stuff like that. And I thought, yeah, okay, no problem. And I thought, cool. And he said, I'll speak to you on Tuesday. So Tuesday came, no call. I was in Canada at the time, no call. And then the following Tuesday, I still hadn't heard anything. So I called, I couldn't get a hold of him. So I spoke to the CEO in Anschutz in Europe, and I said, is there any word? He said, I haven't heard nothing. So he came back and said, oh, what happened was Mike Lowry wanted to bring his own equipment guy in, his own assistant coach, but the GM wanted to bring his own guy in. So he wanted to bring Derek Laxell, and the coach said, I don't want him, I want this guy. He said, if you don't want him, you can leave. So he left, and then the new coach came in and
did his own thing. And that's how hockey works, man. It's so interesting how all the dominoes can fall different directions. And it's based off who's in charge, who's going to be the coach, who's going to be this, who's going to be that, like who you want to work for too, right? Like, it's interesting when you talk to coaches too, right? Like, and now equipment guys, is that depending on who the boss is, or when the opportunity arises, can change people's lives drastically, right? You go to Reading, who knows where you're at these days, right?
It could be in the NHL right now.
You could be, or you could be in Reading. Which
you could be in Reading.
That's
2 years.
The East Coast, man, is not fun. It can't be fun for an equipment guy. That must be as bad as it gets for equipment guys. But they're not unpacking and unloading bags for guys like you are, probably. So
it's fortunate.
So
I got the call.
Then you go to Belfast. Who called you? Steve Thornton, Todd Kelvin.
No, Rob Stewart. he was assistant coach at the time with Dave Whistle in Belfast. Dave had gone to Germany. Robert took over the team, and then he said, "Look, you want to come here?" Tom Blatcher is not coming back, so he went to Switzerland. He went from Switzerland to the Marlies to the Maple Leafs, and then so I've been here ever since.
Right. And it looks like a great city. I got to spend a little time there, but what a city, eh?
Yeah, like I'm from Cardiff and I love Cardiff.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll go back there now living here.
Really?
Yeah. You're so close. You know, Belfast is a great city. You got Dublin just 2 hours down the road. You know, you got 3 airports. You can fly anywhere you want to go. You know, if you want to go on a holiday, I think Belfast is better, you know.
Well, we could debate this all day, but I've never lived in Belfast, so I wouldn't know what to say. So, but Cardiff's pretty fun too, you know.
Expensive though, Cardiff.
Does Belfast have a chippy lane?
No.
Where does the team go and run amok? Say they go out after the game. They're not going to the bar that the rest of the away teams go to because I never saw them there. What's it, Filthy McNasties or whatever? Yeah, so where does the home team go to run amok, and then where are they eating late night? Like if they beat us and then they go out, where are they going and what are they eating?
They go to the Cathedral Quarter. So we got the Hot Bar, Dirty Onion.
Dirty Onion?
Yeah, the Dirty Onion is what's that other place? It's probably 5 or 6 bars all within, 2-minute walk.
That sounds fun.
It's
Cathedral really Quarter. So that's not by the rink then?
No, it's across the bridge, just across the bridge in the town. So you got McHugh's, you got so many. Spaniard is so many. Coffee or whatever you want to go.
Sounds fun.
And guys don't really think about food after a game anyway when they've got a Saturday night off, so it's straight in the town.
I understand. No, it's it's at the end of that night that they think about eating.
Yeah.
Like, it's after they've ran the muck.
Yeah, literally, that's the place to go.
So I got a few numbers and names written down now. Okay. Graham Walton, number 18. I always found it interesting when I would go to Belfast. I'm number 18 and my last name's Walton. And then I look up in the rafters and I'm like, it says 18 Walton. And I'm like, well, that's really neat that somebody that was with my last name is able to do that.
Yeah, Graham was one of our, when I first came here, we had like 3 or 4 local guys that played on the team.
And he was one of them.
He was one of them, and went on to play for Great Britain. And then, got his testimonial after 10 years and then retired, So yeah,
is he still around town then? Does he still show
up?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does some live commentary on the games right now.
Well, that's pretty cool that there's Walton 18 in the stands somewhere, right? People might get confused and think it's me. So thank you, Graham. And then there's that punk number 44, Todd Kelman, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he had a pretty big impact in Belfast, eh?
Yeah, he did. Tell you a good story about Todd. So we're playing against Nottingham. And,
you're not going to tell the killer story, right? Because when I asked him why his nickname's Killer, he wouldn't respond in the shed. So
I won't tell you that one.
No, we'll leave that. We'll leave that to everybody to wonder until he comes back, right?
Yeah. So we're playing against Nottingham at home. He dumps a puck in, and Matthew Myers is playing for Nottingham, and Matthew Myers got his stick up high, caught him in the nose, caught him right here. Killer goes off. There's blood everywhere. And I was always taught not to spook a guy if they said, "Oh, does it look really bad?" It doesn't look that bad, honestly,
Right.
So Todd's lying in the doctor's room. He's like this, lying on the bed. Hey, Taff, honest opinion, how does it look? And I went, yeah, it doesn't look too bad. I said a couple of stitches on the sides. I said, you'd be perfect. He went, Taff, honestly, what does it look like? Well, I said, if you get a raw beef burger, rip it in half, that's what your nose looks like right now. I said, are you fucking kidding me? And I went, nope. right through the septum, both the sides are split. And I said, do you think you'll play tomorrow? And he goes, yeah, give me a cage.
What's
but
the
he didn't play in
septum?
that. So
That's
he had to have
between
classics.
the septum's the thing between the two
That
nostrils.
right, right in the middle. Yeah, right through, split right through here, right at the sides.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
That's gross. So then he goes
Yeah.
from player to be the GM. I found that would be a strange transition for a player because for myself, like I tried to be best friends with all my teammates, and then to make decisions
Yeah.
on where they end up in life and how much money they make, that'd be difficult.
Yeah. But he was good. He was close with the owner, Jim Gillespie, who sadly passed away about a month ago there. And given the opportunity to be the GM, and Todd did a really good job. We were struggling at the time. When I first started, we were getting no fans because bad management at the start, first 3 years, and then Todd took over, and then built a fantastic fan base and got us to where we are today.
And he also did the Mariah Carey "All I Want for Christmas Is You" video with the team, right?
Yeah.
That was a sensation on YouTube. I guess it went viral.
What viral? One take that took. One take.
Did you get involved? I haven't watched it in a while.
No, I was having girlfriend problems at the time, so I didn't get involved in that one. So
shoot.
yeah.
Okay. Next guy I got written down. You had Tony Hand as a player coach there, and they talk about how he was the Wayne Gretzky of British hockey. Is that true?
Yeah, he was the Wayne Gretzky of British hockey. Holds all the records, goals, assists, all this stuff. But could never do it for GB. Could never do it for GB for some reason.
He could do it on domestic games, but when he gets to the international stage, he wasn't like Liam Kirk. Yeah. You could say.
No. He started on the first line, then up on the fourth line, and then
really
off the power play. Yeah. So
the mental game is a thing, and like some guys, when things start going wrong, it continues to downward spiral, and then when things start going right, it just takes off, and you're like, "Oh, look at this!" Yeah. Crazy.
So,
okay.
Then he went coaching with us, and he left from there to go to Manchester. Then
next guy, number 19, is also in the rafters and a shed guy, Colin Shields.
Yeah, Colin. Yeah. Another good guy. He's settled here in Belfast as well.
Running a gym, right?
Gym, yeah. Gym, and he's big into golf now, so we don't see much of him anymore. So he's another guy with a new set of teeth.
It is new teeth after the career's over is good, right? There's a lot of guys picking up some new chiclets these days, right?
That's
trying to fit it in the real world, guys. Way to go, right? Just don't keep spitting them out in people's drinks, right?
Exactly, yeah.
You've seen the guys, right, where they wear the mouth guard and then they got the two teeth and then they spit it out in somebody's drink and they're like, "Hey."
Yeah, seen an eyeball done. So,
okay.
Eyeball in a pint. Eyeball in a pint of Guinness is the best one.
Did you say an eyeball?
Yeah, glass one.
Who did that?
A friend of mine. I'm not naming any names. We just dropped.
That's fine, but his eyeball could come out.
Yes, glass eyeball.
Oh, that would freak me right out.
Yeah.
Oh,
because you can't see the bottom of the Guinness. You get to the bottom, there's the eyeball just sitting there.
So the guy would have like nothing in the socket then? He'd be standing there with nothing?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So are you like Rain Man Deese where everybody's curves and sticks?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What'd Keefer use?
Keefer used to use the P92, but now he's a coach. He uses the P28, which is a Veskin. So he ended his career with the P28, but he was a P92.
Why did he switch at the end? That doesn't make sense.
Oh, top cheese, top cheddar.
Trying to go top titties, eh? Okay. Yeah. How about Daryl Lloyd?
Daryl Lloyd at P91A, the old Drury, 110 flex.
Okay.
Vapor stick.
Calvin Elfring.
Calvin Elfring, he had his own pattern.
Is that
He was a
right?
CCM. Yeah.
His own pattern.
Yeah, square
Jeepers.
toe on the end.
Square toe.
Yeah, like the Lidstrom.
Yeah, that I never understood that.
I can still remember his skate sharpening 3/8, on his graphs.
3/8.
So,
I've only heard of 5/8 and 7/8, not 3.
Yeah. Half inch, half.
What does that mean?
3/8.
They're not as sharp?
Oh, they're deep.
That means
Really
it's really sharp.
deep. Yeah, really sharp. Yeah.
Hmm.
But I got a guy now. It's on 1.25 inch, which is the flattest you can get.
Really?
Yeah.
What does he say? Why?
You glide better, faster. And see, anyone 1/2 inch would be my limit, because anything after that, you're going to put so much pressure on your knees and your back. That's where you get injuries. And in today's game now, you glide more. So anything from a 1/2 inch down to a 5/8, 3/4, like Bouncy's a 3/4 guy. For a goalie, that's very, very low.
I don't know anything about goalies, so try not to.
Yeah. Dumb as shit, them guys.
They're weird.
Yeah.
Bouncy's good, dude, but goalies. And so I didn't actually know when I got to Cardiff, and Deese is like, how do you want your skates? And I'm like, I want them sharpened. And he's like, what is that? Like, what do you mean? I'm like, I want them sharp to play the game. And he's like, do you want 5/8? You want 7/8? I'm like, I don't know. And then Deese is like, well, your height, your stature, you should use this. I'm like, whatever, man. But you guys do know what's going on. Like, you're talking about your back and your knees. You guys are paying attention to what's going on, eh?
So for sure. I look into the science of it as well, so.
And the more you do things for years and years, you get better and better at it, right?
Yeah. Remember the a few years ago, guys used to wear the full leather gloves. Full leather, now they're nylon.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Oh, you mean like the palms, or like?
No, the whole glove was leather, right?
Yeah, I didn't pay attention to my equipment much other than my skates and sticks.
So what happened in the NHL was, like, guys were getting hit into the boards, and their glove, because they weren't nylon, was sticking to the glass, and they would either flip in their wrists or shoulders, and if they, because the leather wouldn't slide, so they changed from leather to nylon.
Right. Well, you got to learn from your mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Calvin Elfring was a hell of a defenseman, though, eh?
Oh yeah, he was awesome. Really
when he played for Belfast that year, that was the year you guys beat us in the playoffs, right? Yeah. He was all over the place. He was like a rover, but then he was always back when he was supposed to be back. But then he was all over the offensive zone. And it's, as a winger, you're like, could you please stop this and just stand back there like the rest of them and stop moving around? Right?
Yeah, he was so good on his edges. He'd fly around there.
Yeah.
And we did beat you in the playoffs anyway. So it was the league, I think.
No, you beat us in the playoffs my first year, 2014-15. We
not
played
not in the final.
No, to get to the playoffs. We didn't even make it to Nottingham until I was injured and couldn't play. It was the best home and home against you guys. We like tied you in Belfast, and I talked about it because I remember walking out of the arena behind Elfie's kids and his wife, and they said, is that Dad's last game ever for real? And she's like, well, they're gonna play at Cardiff, and then they ended up, you guys beat us and then moved on to the final.
Was Westgarth in that team?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, he sat on the bench until the third period.
He didn't get a shift.
He didn't get a shift, and then who's the big defenseman with the ginger beard? He teaches hockey in
Hendo.
Yeah, so the puck went into the corner, and he went flying in, and he hit him so hard the glass was going like that, and then the puck went back in again, and it went to Hendo again. He crushed him again. I'm like, oh my god!
Westgarth did.
Yeah. And then the next night, then we went into your barn, and Westy, Westy just won that game for us because of his presence.
You think so? I don't even remember him playing.
No, he played the whole game because one of our guys.
But that's not why you beat us. Just letting you know. It's more Adam Keefe and those guys, but Westgarth was good, and like I'm sure for the tough guys was a presence, but like I don't think he won that game for you. Just letting you know.
Well, I think he made a bit more space for some guys.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, and then we got to Nottingham, and Steve Thorne didn't play him a shift.
I don't know. I didn't find him as effective as Adam Keefe out there. I didn't find him intimidating. I didn't find him hard to play against. And I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Adam Keefe was all those things and was the biggest competitor ever. But everybody remembers things differently, right? Like you remember him hitting Hendo. I remember Hendo hip checking him, and then all the videos in Cardiff about how Hendo hit the Westgarth and everybody loved it. And it's like everybody remembers things differently. I remember my shifts. I remember the game I played, and you guys just beat us. You guys, like, we had great games all that season. I remember the first exhibition game of that season. The pregame speech from Lordo was like, this is the team that is the team to beat. They won it all. They blew everybody out. And he's like, we're here now. We're going to show them tonight. We're here. And this is an exhibition game, but we're going to let everybody know that like, we're here now. And this was Lordo's like first game as a preseason head coach. And then we went out there and it was a full melee in Belfast. You remember that? Fights everywhere.
Yeah.
Fun times. Those were good battles though. I really enjoyed playing Belfast and Sheffield and the Clan. Those were the teams I liked playing.
Still, we all still battle now. So
yeah. No, fun times. But anyways, okay, better move on. Pat Dwyer's on your team too, eh?
What a player he was.
Western Michigan Bronco.
Yeah, he was lights out, the best player in the league that year. Lights out. And he only played 20 games.
He did really well, eh?
If he played a full season, we would have won the league 5 games ago.
He's a player, and like he was one of those guys that is one of those competitors that like I'll never forget the conversation at Western Michigan University. I'm from Elmira, Ontario. He's drafted to the NHL to Atlanta, and I'm like, oh, I think I'm almost as good as this guy or whatever. And then he's drafted the NHL. I feel like I'm similar, we're similar capabilities.
Yeah.
And he said to me, he's like, I will play in the NHL. He's like, I will do whatever it takes to play one game in the NHL. I know I will. I will 100% play a game in the NHL. And I was listening to him going, I don't think I will. I don't think I ever will. I don't think I ever thought I would. And then he went out there and gone and done it.
And
he played years.
He had a great career there. So he was a class guy, really classy guy. So
and he's coming back to the shed, folks. And he just became an AHL Calder Cup champion as a coach, right?
Yeah. And it won't be long before he's an assistant coach in the NHL.
I agree. No, but his attitude, he will make it. I know he will.
Yeah.
Anyways, I saw him do it as a player. See him do it again as a coach, right?
Yeah.
Jim Vandermeer. Tough old prick to play against.
Tough old prick, funny guy. Just he was.
He'd be probably good in the shed, eh?
Oh, it'd be awesome, mate. Honestly, you'd love him. The stories he can tell with his brothers and all that is, and especially on the beer, he is lights out. One of the funniest guys. One of the best defensemen I've ever seen playing ball.
Tough, could run the power play, could do anything you need, right?
Score, and he was always good teaching the younger guys certain things. Like just on stand in front of the net, Bucks. He was just.
I don't know
lights
where
out.
he's from, but I'm pretty sure he's like from a small town, rural area where like he'd be the type of guy that's gonna help out the kids around, and like
Yeah, he's
he's the
just
type of
outside.
guy you
Just
want to teach your young bucks, right? In Belfast.
yeah. Just outside Calgary, I think he is. So.
Okay. Let's see here. You got any questions while I look at the rest of my notes?
No, not really.
Who's your goalie now? I heard that Besco guy was really good.
He's probably the best goalie ever played in this league.
The best goalie
Lights
that ever
out.
played in this league. You're gonna say that in the shed right now?
I am
Okay.
100%. Like, he was the most easiest laid back goalie, fun guy, turned up every night. You know, he was just.
So you're
lights
not
out
just
for us.
saying that performance wise, you're saying that full package,
Full package.
best goalie ever.
Yeah,
Cheaper.
Yeah.
Sounds like I need to get him in the shed then.
yeah, mate. He was unbelievable. Like,
Well, when you just hear
He-
people talk about him, right? They're like Besco, Besco, and they like have that smile, like, yeah.
Like, this is a guy. No, this is the type of guy he is. We're playing in Milton Keynes. There was a scrap on the ice. He's standing in the net, and they start playing music. He's dancing in the net.
He's just having fun playing hockey.
I'm playing hockey, just standing there, like, he played in the DEL. He won best goalie in the DEL.
He won the best goalie in the DEL.
Yep.
Did he go to Belfast for the school deal?
Nope. So this is how it came about. So he was in the DEL, and his wife at the time turned around to him and said, "Look, Tyler, it's either me or hockey."
Mm-hmm.
So Tyler took the wife side of it. So he stopped playing hockey in DL, and then they split up anyway.
Right. Yep.
And then Besco ended up in Edinburgh, of all places, and he was like, he beat us single-handedly at home against us. And then the next year, then I got in contact with Scott. Someone asked me to get in touch with Scott Neal. Got in touch with Scott. Scott gave me his number, and then next minute he signed for us.
Right.
So then he won the league with us. Then he went to Slovakia. Went to Slovakia. I think they won the league in Slovakia as well. And then the pandemic hit, and they went to Villach. I think he only lasted 6 games, but I don't think he was happy there. And then we brought him back here. So.
Right. It's interesting when players are happy and they feel comfortable, they play much better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, 100%. Yeah.
But I think equipment managers and kit guys are a very big part of that. Okay. I think we're about done here. I got to go back to the real world. But what I was going to say is Deese made my time in Cardiff what it was.
Yeah.
When I was injured and couldn't play anymore and was having a hard time, that dude would spray paint my body naked for me just so I could feel part of the team again. And I could run out and I felt like part of the team again, right? And equipment managers can make the culture what it is. Yeah. They can make it a team, or they can bitch about getting up in the morning. They can bitch about staying up at night. They can bitch about doing laundry. They can bitch about sharpening skates. They can bitch about everything. But if you have a guy that makes it fun to show up every day and loves their job and is passionate about it, it makes teams good. It makes players feel better. It makes players want to play better. And that's what wins championships. And I know Todd did a pretty good job in Belfast, and I'm sure Keefer's done pretty good, but you've been their equipment manager through how many trophies?
I couldn't tell you. I've lost count. And
it matters. The equipment manager matters. And the reason you've won so many trophies is who you are. And then when I post you're coming on and I don't even know you, and the response I get is it makes you realize what I know from my experiences, but for other people, they have no idea how important equipment manager is to the success of the team for the year.
Yeah. I know. And it's funny you say about championships. There's a bag just sitting there with just full of medals. Full of them. They just sit Every time I get one, I just drop another one in there. It's still, I'll grab it for you now. I'll grab it.
Well, it's the thing. Like, what I'll respond to that is, you're always looking for the next one, right? Like, you win one, and you're like, "Well, that was awesome." You celebrate for 3 days, and then it's on to the next one, right? Look at all those medals, jeepers creepers.
Just people come around, look at them.
Yeah, some of my medals, I have a few too. Didn't quite make it home unscathed. I should find the second league German championship medal. There's no strap anymore. It had a good time that weekend, you know?
Yeah. No, I'm sure it did.
But winning stuff is fun. And for the folks that don't know that, you know, to be honest, I'm not trying to pump my own tires, because I think of hockey the way I think of hockey, and I ain't going around jock sniffing, trying to get the biggest stars. I'm trying to get the people that are shed guys, and equipment managers matter. Equipment managers matter in all of hockey. They matter in the NHL. They matter in the EIHL, and they change teams from winning and losing. And when I asked Deese, I'm expecting some smart ass answer from him about you. And he says, not much to say about him. He's my best friend in hockey. I do anything for him, and he just gets his shit done. He works hard. He does everything you need him to do. And it's like, well, that's winning, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. There's nice words from him, you know. So I'm glad he's doing well himself. He's got himself a good setup there in Graz.
Well, and then the guys in Germany, right? Carlos saying you're the best equipment manager he's ever had.
Yeah.
My equipment manager in Bietigheim was Frankie Heider, loved him. We couldn't really communicate that much because he was German and I was English, but like, you do need a fun guy that likes to be at the rink, that wants to be there, and will do anything for the team, right?
Yeah, for sure. I do anything for whatever team I'm working for, I'll do anything for them. You know, if it was Germany, like Simon Danner, Chris Billich, Mark Whitforth, all them local guys, Marvin Nair, loved them all. Nico Linsmeyer. If it's Belfast, I'll be doing anything for them. If I was working for Cardiff, I'd do the same for them. Like, you know what I mean? And I do exactly the same for GB.
And that's why you're a shed guy. But that's why you're a winner. And that's why you keep winning stuff. And that's why GB is what it is. I mean, like, what they've done, like, and how much more work it is for you guys when the season's over, that you guys go and do that. But then you're also taking care of players in all these different EIHL teams, or they're in North America, they're wherever. You're getting them the sticks, you're getting them the equipment that they're ready to go come game time.
Yeah. And it's not like, I go to these rinks now and I see the Robert Dowds and I see the David Phillips and I'll see the Clemens, the Venus, whatever. I go.
Dowdy's the one I didn't write down either. Dowdy was the other day too.
Yeah, Liam Kirk. It's not a handshake anymore. It's a hug. It's a family thing, you know. It's come on, bring it in. You know, it's just a big hug. It's a big family thing, you know. And it's
that's awesome, doing anything for each other, right? And that's what hockey is, right? And that's what it is to me. And you just hit me in the heart there, because I see the kids I coached last year around the rinks. It's not a handshake. They come up and give me hugs, and I'm like,
that's it. Yeah. That's it. That's how it should be. I think so.
That's hockey, right?
Hockey's a big family, massive family. It's a small sport, but it's a massive family.
And that's how the shed can happen, is that there's people like you and Deese and the fellas out there and the gals. And you know, and then the girls that, you know, what they got to put up with year after year, you know, on the road, they're sitting at home, you know, moving all over to different countries, packing up, and then we're busy doing our thing. And yeah,
for sure. So
cool. No, but seriously, it's been great getting to know you. This,
if you want me to be on again, I'll come.
I will have you on again. We're gonna have a kit guy convention. Maybe you,
Yeah,
Maxi, Deese, right? Get the fellas back
Merds.
together.
Merds. Do you know
Merds, we
Merds?
got to get Merds
Yeah,
on
Merds.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He's
No,
another.
but I love this shit. It literally makes my day better. It makes me happier.
Yeah,
It gets me something to be excited for. It's like I have a
yeah,
game again. It's like I'm thinking on a Wednesday afternoon, I'm like, okay, I got a game Friday night and I get excited about it. It's like
yeah,
now I'm like, Taff's coming to the shed.
yeah.
Which here's my last question. Your name's Jason, but everybody calls you Taff. What's that about?
So you have they call a Scotsman, a jock, an Irishman, a paddy, an Englishman, a wanker, and then you got a Welshman's Taff. So since you lived in Cardiff, there's a river called the River Taff.
Okay.
So I lived on the River Taff in a village called Taffswell. In Welsh, it's fun on Taff. So when I started playing hockey, everyone started calling me Taff, and it's stuck ever since.
Makes sense. Now that you've explained it, it makes sense. So
Yeah,
it's basically taking over your name because, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. Like
And-
people phone speak to Jason and they're like, who? You know, so
That's what I was like. I didn't know how to get the research team hot because I was putting in Taff and nothing was coming up.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I found it. And I was like, there it is.
yeah. Brilliant.
No, but seriously, thank you so much. It was great getting to know you.
You're welcome.
And for the last almost 2 hours, I've got to find out why all these guys say such nice things about you. So
Thanks,
keep
man.
up the great work. And if you do want to make the NHL, I'm pretty sure that you should based on the reviews.
Yeah.
And this has been another episode of Zero Ales and Hockey Tales with Taff and Wally.